A few years ago, I started a journey. Via plane, train, and automobile, I set out to visit all 50 states. Now it's time to check out the 17 ones I had already visited prior to starting my quest. Welcome to my 50 before 50 adventure part 2, the earlier 17. Warning, I have an accent. Sometimes it may be hard to understand what I'm saying. Occasional grammatical mistakes may be heard or read. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello you, and welcome back to Hawaii. Last time you saw me, I was discovering the city and the coffee of Kona, plus the colored beaches and volcanoes of the Big Island alongside my friend Davide. But of course, that's only part of what this awesome land has to offer. Third day, and we decided to go to the other side of the island. Opposite Kona, on the east coast, we find Hilo, a city that presents quite a different visual as we could already see on our way there. Thankfully, coffee is great all across the board, so after a quick coffee break in the farmer town of Waimea,
Oh my god.
good, we were back on the road. This may be a good time to share something about my previous visits to Hawaii. As I mentioned once, I had been to most of my earlier 17 states for work, and Hawaii was no exception. I'd been to this beautiful state twice before, a long time ago, as this relic indicates. Both times to Oahu, and yep, for work. So I didn't get to explore much at all, which is why this time I wanted to see it all. As mentioned, this part of the island is quite different than the west coast. Mainly, it is much more tropical and home to rainforests and falls. And our first stop right before Hilo was indeed a waterfall.
Akaka Falls.
So here we go, Akaka Falls. David, any comments on the name?
Maybe if I don't. Kaka, tanta kaka.
Okay, bye. I hope this is not a shitty...
Hopefully not, yeah.
It's like we're in the middle... it's not like we are in the middle of the jungle, Hawaiian jungle that is. Smells are different. Obviously what we see is completely different. The vibe is completely different. The one thing that is exactly the same is the level of freaking gorgeousness. The Akaka Falls live inside a dense and humid rainforest full of tropical plants. Named after a Hawaiian chief whose full name I would not dare try pronouncing, and framed by bamboos and amazing draping ferns. This waterfall stands tall at 442 feet, and it's the most visited one on the island. The hike to it is short and mild, making it a great activity for the whole family. And the nature around it is simply gorgeous. Plus, we barely dodged the rain, so we could not complain. Now off to Hilo it was. The largest urban center on the island of Hawaii, Hilo is slightly over 10 miles south. And surprising no one at this point has a completely different vibe from Kona, which we'll show you more of later on. Gives me a very Alaskan vibe, I don't know why. So after a quick stop to eat, and thankfully the food here is as good as on the west coast, we walked around Hilo's downtown right by the ocean which is full of history, art, stores, and, of course, coffee shops. But this one was a quick stop, as we had way more to do and the rain was tracking closely, which would have completely spoiled the iconic views we were hoping to get. The next stop was yet another waterfall, quite different from the previous one though, and with a bonus attraction guaranteed to delight both your eyes and your soul. Welcome to Rainbow Falls, an 80 feet tall cascade that flows over a natural lava cave, and it's located only a short drive away from downtown Hilo. These falls are part of the Wailuku River State Park, named after the longest river in the state, which runs for 28 miles. The lava cave beneath them forms a series of pools, and legend has it that it was once home to Hina, goddess of the moon and mother to the demigod Maui, who is often portrayed as a powerful and wise woman. Anyway, these falls are beautiful whether you get to see the rainbows that tend to hover over them in the morning or not, and as accessible as they are, they can also be dangerous, as this sign friendly reminds us. That the most beautiful part for us were the neighboring and ancient banyan trees, the largest one referred to as the Tree of Life by some.
Huge.
Originally from India, where they are considered sacred, as in many other cultures, Hawaii has plenty of banyan trees, which were first introduced to the island close to 150 years ago. So the account of this one being over 600 years old is questionable to say the least, proving yet again that age does not matter. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And actually, video doesn't do justice at all, and they're all around us. These trees are known for dropping aerial roots from the branches, which create the massive and intricate ground roots we see here. They can spread so far that the state has to trim them to prevent them from taking over the whole coast. This gnarliness reminds me of something. Yeah, but not just of my hair. This does look like a movie set. Reminds me of the set I visited in Alabama for Big Fish. Only that this is actually nature, it's not man-made. Yep, not man-made, and a zillion times larger. Just trying to walk around them, it's a hike on its own, and you might need some time to recoup after that.
The biggest tree I've ever seen. No joke.
Insane. Truly a magical place. But what do you know? There were way more magical visions in store before the day was over. Well, the rain finally caught up with us. But even in the rain, the landscape around us started to look more and more magical the higher up we went. Like from a sci-fi movie or even the X-Files. But scary or not, it was only a prelude of the magic that was to come.
Road open.
So we finally made it to the visitor center of Maunakea, which is short for White Mountain in Hawaiian language. But as high as this was, we still had a long way to go. Highest point in the island. Yes, it is cold. I'm gonna get a jacket in just a second. We're not at the summit just yet. We will get there in a minute. Amazing place for stargazing, for sunset viewing, and all of that. So that's what we're doing. Okay, let the adventure begin. The summit is only accessible via 4x4 through a tricky gravel road, and the reduced visibility made it all the way more challenging. But sometimes you have to go the extra mile. And in this case, that brought us rewards that were way above our expectations, no pun intended. Okay, officially cold, officially winter, and officially on top of the world. Maunakea is the highest peak in Hawaii, and some go as far as to say this is the tallest mountain in the world if you take into consideration its underwater base. Towering at 4,205 meters, almost 14,000 feet above sea level. This dormant volcano is about 1 million years old and highly revered as a sacred site in native Hawaiian culture.
My gosh.
We have no feeling in our hands.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Zero. It's
High
so
five.
cold up here.
Due to its clear high-altitude environment, Maunakea is home to the world's most powerful telescopes and satellites, and a top-notch destination for astronomical observation and scientific research. It is, of course, a super popular tourist stop as well, offering some of the best views I have ever seen. Now this is a sunset you can be sure you'll never forget.
Wow.
But eventually we had to go back down to reality, still in awe of the views of Maunakea. The following day we would take it even further and go from above the clouds to below the waters. Final day and one more visit to downtown Kona was in order. Of course, we were not the only ones there. Kona's always bursting with tourists, plus that particular weekend there was an added treat. Yeah, we do leave today, but this weekend is Ironman here in Big Island, so there's signs all over for Ironman Village. And everybody's running and all of that, but we are eating. Yep, athletes were all over, running, cycling, and even swimming. But Davide and I were practicing brunching. And what better way to open an appetite than a visit to the farmer's market? The local farmer's market smells delicious. A remarkable number of vendors, dresses, hats, keychains, and all kinds of souvenirs. But the highlight was undoubtedly the incredible array of local fruit and produce. A feast for your eyes as well as your sense of smell. And probably your taste buds too, but we didn't get to try them. Hello, diversity and inclusion, right? But speaking of taste buds, time for coffee and one final brunch. Our choice was Kona, located right by the ocean and with not only great food, but also superb views of the waters. No complaints at all. Guys, finally driving in Hawaii. David is getting a tattoo. So, yep, finally driving and en route to check off an item from my bucket list. So pretty excited about this one, finally doing it. Hawaii snorkeling. Yay! Snorkeling is one of the most popular and relaxing activities Hawaii has to offer. And Kahalu'u Beach Park, a protected base super close to downtown, is the perfect spot for first-timers like me, due to its calm and shallow waters and its easy accessibility. Marine life here is full of colorful tropical fish, like butterfly fish, triggerfish, pufferfish, and more. And depending on the weather and how far you're willing to venture from the coast, you can also spot sea turtles, eels, and even octopus. The perfect underwater experience. I could not leave Hawaii without trying. And so glad I did. So after one final lunch and a sneak peek into Davide's new tattoo,
Oh my god.
yeah, we will miss Hawaiian food for sure. Anyway, it was time to leave. And so it goes, bye Hawaii. A trip that didn't start as planned, but a state that made it all worthwhile. Mahalo Hawaii. Until next time.